All right, welcome back. I am here with my friend Tammi Lee Sauco. She is an amazing artist who creates these wonderful, uplifting messages in her art. And I actually met her through social media. Isn't that crazy? And I feel like I've known you my whole life.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Well, I'm just glad to be back again doing this
I'm
with you.
glad to have you. Yes, for sure. So Tammi, does a lot of traveling. She started painting rocks and has emerged as this artist. She's been featured on a movie and,
Two movies.
television and 2 movies.
Yes,
That's
yes. Two
that's
movies. Yeah.
awesome. So why don't you tell a little bit about how your journey began with this whole art
Okay.
career?
All right. Well, 2017 is when it all started. And basically, I was a hot mess. And I had found this gratitude page on, and I started following it because I really needed to follow, like, I needed to get back into my gratitude. And this woman had posted some little stones with hearts. And so I asked her, like, what are those things? She goes, love rocks. I'm like, well, what's a love rock? So she gave me the link. I followed it. And basically, this woman, kind of a sad story, but it inspired me. She lost her two little girls to an accident in front of her home.
Hmm.
And 6 months after their passing, she started making love rocks in their honor. And so it's rock with a heart cut out of material, Mod Podge, the stone. So I kind of like bawled my out when I read the
Yeah.
story. It really reached me deep down inside. And I was like, well, if this woman can persevere, she can rise above. I need to pull my head out of my bum and I need to get some rocks. I need to get some material and start making these things. And that's what happened. So, with that said, I worked at Wheeler School as a
Yeah.
private school in Providence. I'm in Rhode Island, so Providence is like 20 minutes south or north of me. And this would be Grandparents' Day. And so I was going to make a bunch of them. So I got my husband and my son to help. Well, my husband he's like, maybe you could try painting rocks. And I was like,
Mhm.
well, I don't know how to paint. Well, I started painting love kindness stones, and I joined all kinds of groups on Facebook. And basically, when COVID hit, I just dived to learning, and I got deeper and deeper into it, and self-taught. Took some classes, and here we are now, 2023. I do a lot of art shows. I think I have been on this journey for this, I don't know how many years, but it's been the coolest thing ever. The people that I've met, like you, and all the people that you meet all over the world. Remember, we did that thing with India with Neha,
Yeah,
and we got to meet more people across, it's like, it's so cool.
it is. Art transform it goes everywhere.
It
It's the
does. It
universal
does.
language.
It is. It truly is. So, um, I'm in the process of, I have a studio upstairs, but I'm now making a bigger studio upstairs so that I can eventually teach classes, maybe learn how to do
Yeah,
online, because techie's not my thing. The computer, so, but I can learn it. If you can learn it, I can learn it, So,
that's right. If I can do it, you can do it. Absolutely. Yeah,
right,
because you've inspired me to get some of those clocks. I have them. I got them in the
right,
mail. I
right.
just have never painted per se on that type of stone before, so,
The
um,
Greek marble, yeah. In fact,
I'm going
here,
to
I'm
get
working on one right here. I don't know if you can
yeah,
see it. It's
yeah, it will.
two-sided, so you can actually put the clock in either side. So,
So when you do those rocks, you paint both sides so it can be, reversible.
yes, it's a double-sided clock. You just pop the clock out and pop it onto the other side. And it's Greek marble that we work on here. So it's not like your
Yeah,
typical beach stone that you go to the beach. And these are actually sourced out of Greece. So
that's awesome.
yeah, so they sparkle actually when you put them in the sunshine. Have you put yours in the sunshine yet?
Yes, I have it by the sunshine, by the front door.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love mine's very, um, simplistic. It's a little bit different from, like, your normal style, but I just fell in love with it when I saw it. I was like, "That one's mine."
There you go.
Mhm.
There you go.
Yeah. So, you also, lug these monstrosities, I mean, they're heavy.
They are.
And, I know when you told me when you first started doing your art shows and meeting people all over the world, you
Hmm.
did it yourself. You lugged them around, you set it up.
Yep.
You say techie's intimidating, which it was intimidating for me too, but I'm intimidated by the whole art show thing. I talked about it the last time we were together,
Right.
and I got a tent, and
Right.
that's as far as I got. It's
Mm.
really intimidating, it's scary.
It can be shows that I haven't done yet. I tend to get like anxious, but I
Mhm,
think it's more excitement and how it's going to be, what it's going to be like. But once I get there and I start setting up, I usually like settle down because I get into my groove. So I've had a couple shows under my belt now. This year, I am going for the bigger shows again. Last year, I did a lot of big shows, but I had some small shows. Now I just want to focus on the 2 day shows or shows that have a history that they've been around for quite some time. That's my
mhm,
goal.
mhm.
We just met yesterday. Was it yesterday? A bunch of women artist friends. We all met at Panera Bread. I was going to say Pandora, and we all got together and we sat there, see what to bring to the table, what shows, where they're at, what do you know about them, also websites, talking, women lifting women up and
Yeah,
helping each other. And that I think is key,
absolutely.
you know. Um, I know one of my biggest things with my art journey has been to help women realize that they matter, that
Yeah,
they are worthy, and we are unlimited.
yes,
That's
and I
my
see
word this
that.
year.
I see that on your social media because that's actually how I found Katie with the stone is because you share so much of other people's, processes, their art, the things
Businesses,
that they
yeah,
make, their businesses, and to me, that's so important because I feel sometimes some women, and I think that comes from a place of lack, a place
right.
of scarcity, that they feel intimidated by sharing other people's work or
Mhm.
pointing out this person or that person. And, you know, there's not enough art to go around in the world. So, share other people's ventures and businesses. And like you said, lift them up. And you do that more than anybody I've ever witnessed on social media.
Really?
Yes,
I
you
didn't
do it.
realize that.
I'm always
Hmm,
seeing that. And I get a big smile on my face because,
hmm.
yeah, that's like
Yeah,
lifting someone up without even saying that you're doing it. You just do it.
yeah. Well, it's just I feel it's important.
Mhm.
I read your thing about Martin Luther King. What are you doing for others, right?
Yeah,
And I thought
yeah.
about that. I was like, what do I do for others? But I guess that's one of the things I do, help lifting people up.
Mhm.
And I haven't done a lot of kindness stones out to the world lately. That's something that's been missing in my world. I
Yeah,
do like to paint just stones and put them out there because that's how I met a lot of people too. You know.
yeah, yeah. That's awesome. So, the premise of this is, finding brilliance after life's darkest moments. And,
Mm,
I know you've had some dark moments in your life. Um,
yes, and that's something that I counsel some of my friends that are going
yeah,
through the same. Addiction has touched my life in many, many
yeah,
ways. And
yes.
it's not gone, but it's better
Mhm.
because I've learned how to stay in my lane And, going to program Narnon
Mhm.
and art and learning about who I am as a person has really helped me.
Yeah.
Um, I think addiction is one of the hardest things that I've gone through. Um, I've had it my whole life. My parents, they struggled with alcoholism.
Mhm.
My father was abusive, but you know what? All these things that have happened in my past have made me who I am today.
Right.
Even my son's addiction. Uh, my middle son, he struggles with things. He's slowing down. He's doing better, but I'm standing back and basically like I don't go to church, but I believe in God, and
Mhm.
I'm basically stepped out of God's way to let Him do what He has to do for them. And
Right.
I try to be an example of living my best life, and that took some doing because it's easy to fall apart or become a victim and stay there. I don't want to be a victim anymore. I
Right.
want to thrive. I want
Right.
to be an example. Does that mean I don't fall down that rabbit hole? I fall down it. But do I stay there? No.
Yeah. I think it's so hard as moms. We've been, my whole life I thought, "Oh, I just want to be that was my thing. I want to be a mother." And when your kids are little, they're your entire world. And
Hmm.
then they grow older and they start getting ideas of their own. And, finding that separation is really hard. And then when you have a child with addiction, it's like that line is just so blurry at first.
It's a
So
big
blurry.
blur. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how do you be a mom? How do you be
You have to
not
learn
a
how to retrain yourself.
codependent?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to retrain yourself. You don't
yeah,
get to be a normal mom,
yeah.
you
And how
know?
do you love them exactly where they are? You know,
That's
it's
I think that's one of the hardest challenges because you want to love them. You want to love that addiction right out of them, and
yeah,
you can't, you know?
yeah,
And
yeah,
they tell you you're supposed to meet them where they're at. Well, what does that look like? What does that
right.
look like? You know, it's different for everybody.
Absolutely. That's why I've always said there's no one right solution. There's no one pathway to recovery or rekindling families, and that's one of the things that I had to learn. I had lots of advice coming to me, and I feel like unless you've walked the walk, and even if you have, your walk is probably
Different.
different than mine.
Yeah. You know what? On Narnon, one of the things they taught me was take what you want and leave the rest behind. So, you hear all these things, you get all this literature, you get all these quotes, get all this, suggestions, experience, and hope from people,
Yeah,
and you get bogged down with all of it. And so I've learned to, okay, listen to it all, but then maybe step back and say, okay, what's going to work for me?
right.
Not all of it will work probably, but something might click.
Yeah,
And one of the things that's really helped me is setting boundaries for myself and
mhm.
realizing that I'm worthy of happiness.
Yeah,
That's a key right there. I am worthy of being happy, of living a happy life. And there's a quote, my first canvas I did, it
mhm.
says, life doesn't have to be wonderful.
Yeah,
And I've learned I don't want perfect.
yeah.
I want
What is
messy.
perfect anyway?
Perfect's ugly. Perfect's like, to me, perfection means there can be no character. There can be no um, messiness.
Yeah,
Life is messy. Life is
yeah,
not perfect.
and I think you find beauty in the mess.
Oh, yes. It's beauty. But you know what? You have to look for it sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
Your silver
Yeah,
linings.
I used to be jealous of people, like, I used to think, "Oh, wow, their life is just so wonderful, and they have this and that," the older and wiser I got, the more I realized a lot of times that's just a facade. It's
Yeah.
not real.
It's that curtain, like the Wizard of Oz, behind the curtain. You never know what's
Yeah,
going on.
right,
Yeah.
right. And I'm pretty much an open book.
Yeah.
So sometimes my life is really good, and most of the time it is really good right now
Right.
because I've learned to focus on the good.
Yeah, you have to.
The
Yeah.
like you said, doesn't mean sometimes we don't get caught up in the turmoil and go down that rabbit hole, but
Mhm.
overall, I don't have to live that way anymore. And I deserve happiness and I deserve joy and peace and serenity and a good life. And that's what I'm going to have.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned. And so, like, even though, okay, my son right now, he's living in a shelter,
Mhm.
and it is a couples shelter, and he can stay there during the day. So I'm grateful he has a roof over his head. He's got 3 square meals. But I was struggling with the guilt of living in my home and not bringing him here. Even though we've tried it numerous times, it didn't work. And he's 29. I mean, he's doing the methadone. He's staying sober, as far as I know. I stay in my lane. I don't business. He knows I
Right.
love him. I'll pick him up and bring him here and hang out and stuff. But I was really having a hard time with that fact of where he was living. And then I said, well, Tam, you can actually turn this around and say, instead of saying, oh man, he's in a bad, I feel so bad he's living in a home where he's living. Instead, I can say, you know what? He's safe.
Yeah.
He has a roof over his head. He has 3 square meals. And he's 20 minutes from my house if I want to go see him.
Mhm.
And this is his journey, and release that guilt because I didn't do this.
Right.
And it's not my place to always try to fix his life.
Right. It's just
That
so
was a hard
ingrained. Fixer.
Right? Right? So
Yeah.
I had to come to terms with that, and I had to put my thinking around.
Mhm.
I could sit there and keep beating myself up and, talk to my husband and say, well, from here. I've done that with a lot of our kids. I'm not doing that anymore.
Mhm.
Some people might not agree with that, and that's okay. It's not my business what they think of me,
No, it's not.
So I've had to learn how to come to terms with a lot of different things in my life, and this is the most
Mm.
recent one. Because of the work that I've done on myself and about learning about addiction, it's given me a lot of great tools.
Yeah, for sure.
And I have my art to turn back to.
The messages that you put out, I mean, you really are rippling kindness out into the world with your art. I don't think that as women we recognize this enough, but selling is serving.
Okay. I never thought of it like that, but okay.
It is. I mean, you're serving, people are gonna buy stuff.
Right.
Always. We're always gonna buy stuff. So why not sell something that is gonna be uplifting and joyful and beautiful and, ripple that kindness and peace
Right.
out into the world?
It's funny you say that because a stone that I've had for quite some time, I
Mhm.
had it at the angel shop, and I pulled it out. Carl, she needed the space, and our time was up, which was fine. I was fine with that. And the message on it, it says, in one day, she started to love.
I
And
saw that.
yes, my friend Patty, she's another artist. She says,
Uh-huh.
I feel like every message you put on out on the stone is a part of your journey, and that you
Yeah.
hope that somebody else will have that too. Because I tell myself every time I put a message on a stone, a cradle board, a canvas, whatever it is, because I need that message. And I know there's someone else out there that needs it as well.
Right.
And I have found my niche. Very seldom do I create art that doesn't have a message on it. It's visible. That's just, I
Uh-huh.
love it.
I
So,
don't have a lot of messages, but I do have some that
but
I
you
put
have
on there.
behind the scenes. You go behind the scenes and you write a lot of hidden messages that give spiritual feel.
Yes.
Yes, so they're in there.
Yeah, they are. For
Yes,
sure.
they are. Yeah, and the right person will pick up on them and they'll feel them.
Oh, yeah. They'll feel
Yeah.
that energy. That's one of the things that I am learning, that rest is
Mhm.
imperative.
Mhm.
And, I've always prided myself on, well, I stay up late and I get up early and I cram all this in. And, this these last few weeks have taught me that when the body needs rest,
Mhm.
you need to give the body rest.
Or you're gonna be forced to give it rest.
Exactly. And that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
Because I'll be honest with you, I'm going to confess my sins right here now. I had a lot to do right before we left for Natalie's to go visit. So I stayed up till like 3 o'clock in the morning finishing this commission. I edited a show for the podcast, and I was doing something in the art journal, and then I
Too
had to
much.
pack.
Too
So
much.
I didn't get any sleep before we went
Mm,
down there, and then the next day
mm,
I got hit. Like, Barry got a little bit of the flu,
mhm.
but I was leveled. I
You
mean,
nailed. Yeah.
I was so sick. I I almost considered going to the ER for fluids. That's how
Wow.
bad it was, but I
Wow.
didn't, because
Right. Yeah.
who has time for that, right?
Right. That might be wimpy, Oh my God, we need help. We gotta ask for help. And I have a hard time asking for help too.
And then the
Yeah.
next day, I willed myself to just, I'm gonna have fun today. And then I got home and it was like, all right, that's it.
Yep.
You're
Yeah.
sick. Yeah, I'm trying to,
Yeah.
respect my body, eliminating sugar, which has
I
been really
know.
big
How's
for
that
me.
going?
It's not bad. I mean, it's a learning curve, because
Mhm.
if you look at the labels of everything, bread,
Sugar. Sugar.
uh,
Sugar.
dressing,
Hmm.
salad dressing, you try to eat
Yeah.
healthy,
Anything
it's all
processed
this
food.
hidden
Processed, it's all
stuff.
processed. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So it is a huge learning curve, but I'm getting better and better each day
Good for you. Good for
and
you.
feeling
I
better,
know
except for the cold.
food and exercise, not something I did for myself. I actually joined the YMCA because I have been so busy with the shows, and then the
Yeah.
holidays came up, and I'm like, okay, once the holidays were over, I told my husband, I was like, I am joining the YMCA. I'm not waiting for you or anybody else. I'm doing it by myself. And let me
Mhm.
tell you, it's the best thing I could have done for myself. In fact, tomorrow I was supposed to do a drumming class. You beat this big ball for 45 minutes to music and you're moving your body. I mean, 90-year-old people are doing it too. I'm there, I'm 56, but I'm like, this is fun. Beat a ball. So doing that, and then I'm doing the water fitness. So like
Nice.
one day we didn't have a instructor. So I got my little noodle and I just started swimming. I am so out of shape. But you know what? I'm determined to get in shape because I have a show, the physical labor, breaking
Yeah.
down,
Yeah.
packing everything up. And so I told my husband, it's like, I have 4 months to get my butt in gear. You know?
It's funny you said that about the drumming circle class, because guess what?
What?
Somebody just reached out to me a few weeks ago and invited me to go to this drumming class on Saturday morning. I
And is
haven't
it like the
been
same thing?
yet.
Beating
Yeah,
the ball?
I think so. I don't know. I haven't been yet.
Well, you know what? Are you going to go?
Yeah, when I start feeling better, yes,
Yeah.
I've
Well,
been
yeah.
telling
Oh,
her
yeah.
I'm going, but I haven't. Can't hardly
Well,
breathe.
I
So
hope you do when you're better. I
yeah,
hope you go. I was going to do it tomorrow, but I feel like I get more out of the swim class. And I've had a few
yeah.
days I haven't been able to go because it was closed and appointments and stuff. So
Uh
I'm
huh.
doing the swim tomorrow and then the yoga chair or chair yoga. So,
That's. Ugh. Are you reading my mind? Because I signed up. I signed up for this yoga challenge, and
right.
I did it a couple of times, and it's like it's too much for me. And my husband said, "Well, why don't we do chair yoga?"
It's a
I
lot
like
more gentle. It's more gentle.
yeah,
I'm not flexible. I'm really out of shape. And
yeah,
so I need to suck up my pride and do what I can do and build
yeah,
up. You
yes.
know?
And I
Yeah.
said, "I'm not opposed to that," because I tried to get down on the ground and sit Indian style, and I can't. I was like, "Give me those yoga blocks." I got the blocks up this high, and I'm like, "Yeah, this is not
Yeah.
as easy
Not
as
that
I thought it was
easy.
gonna be." No.
Yeah, it's a challenge. And it's not, I feel like a big old whale is rolling around on the floor, actually, if you want to be honest.
Yeah.
Because
But we'll get
I've gained
there.
weight. Yeah, we
We'll
will.
get there.
I,
We just gotta keep
I'm just,
persevering.
exactly. And you
Mhm.
know what? I'm not hating on myself where I'm at right now, but what I
Yeah,
am doing is doing something to help myself.
absolutely. And you gotta start somewhere.
Exactly. So I'm doing it. And the first time I went to the water fitness, I got in the car and I said, best decision for me. I was so
Yeah.
grateful I did it.
I'm gonna direct everybody to your social media because I know you do you have a website yet?
No, I was talking about doing that this winter, and it's
Mhm.
still, I don't know how you go. I think you probably fly the same way I do. You think you're supposed to do something because it's the correct thing to do
Yeah.
because everybody else is doing it, but it still doesn't feel like I'm need it right now. I feel like I'm
Listen,
doing it.
I have a website and I haven't sold anything off of it. I sell everything off of social media and word of
Me
mouth.
too. Yeah, me too. And my
So
shows.
and your shows. Yeah, so,
Yeah.
it's not a necessity. Not
Yeah, and
not
it's
until
just
you're ready.
more stuff that you got to keep up with.
Right.
And I'm just learning how I had a meeting with my friend Beth. She's a pastel artist. Oh my God. Bev and I went over. She is a palette knife artist. And so Beth has got this down with the screen, what are they called? Spreadsheet.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I said, I don't know how to do that. She goes, well, come over, I'll show you. And she showed me. And so now I'm like, okay, I can do this. So see, I'm learning slowly but surely, getting into the computer,
Yeah.
doing the business side of it, because that is a challenge for me. But I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? I am unlimited. I can learn this stuff.
Yeah.
It's be in my time where I'm not feeling stressed out. So I don't, there's no need to be stressed.
Well, and, Lynn and I had the podcast before this one, and she did all the tech stuff
I know.
and everything, and I was like, I don't know how to do any of that."
Right?
And, guess what? I learned.
Yes, you
I
did.
can do it.
Yes, we can. When you are saying you can't do something, I mean, you can't. But when you say, yes, I can, you
Yeah.
can learn it. It might take some time, though.
Right.
You just have to give yourself grace
Mhm.
and, give yourself have patience with yourself, because it can be challenging. But you know what? Google and YouTube are our friends
And I was in a group, and I'm still in this group of women,
for
that are
podcasts, right?
podcasters. Yes,
Yes.
and we connect, and we help each other, and we share things, and, that's how I really kinda learned how to do all of this is just by people telling me, "Well, you do
Hmm.
this, and you do that, and this is how you record, and this is how you download," and I figured it out.
There you go. And see, there you go. That's a perfect example of other people lifting people up as you're learning and supporting you.
Right. Right.
That's what I feel in every aspect of life. That's what it should be about. They
I
do for
still don't
me,
have the
or
businessy stuff, like you're talking about the spreadsheets. I have another friend that, she does what is it online? It's some kinda computer program for Excel, maybe? I don't
I've
know.
heard of that. There's another one called Wave Business, and my friend Sue, she told me about it. But the spreadsheet's a little more simpler for me. It's at my
Oh,
speed for now. It's just a
yeah.
spreadsheet, and I can actually send you a copy of what I've got. And
Oh, that'd be great.
yeah, you can actually change the headings if you need to. It's
Okay.
just
Yeah.
you can keep that as, download it and then use it for all of your expenses, whatever, keep track of things. And that's what I'm trying to, accomplish now.
Yeah, that's great because right now I have a big pile of all my receipts
Yeah,
that
I
I
do
have to
too.
go through.
I decided to be ambitious and put 2023 all my expenses in. Oh my God, I am
Uh-huh.
a shopaholic. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I am. I think I said this last time. I am still an art supply slut. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
I tend
I
to.
am
I'm
too.
like, oh my God, I put all my expenses in. I'm like, oh my God, in 7 months I spend over $5,000. Was I don't know what other people spend on things and stuff, but for me that seems a lot. I do use it all eventually.
Or exactly. And it's
Yeah.
bringing you joy. So
Oh,
that's
I
what I
am one
say to
happy
myself.
camper.
But
Right.
sometimes I'll be looking at like you get a sale come up and you're like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I've always wanted to try that. I should
Mhm.
order that." And then I
Mhm.
order it, and then
Mhm.
it sits on my shelf. And I'm like,
Mhm.
"No."
Oh, guilty.
And
Guilty.
that's one of
Oh,
the things that I'm really, pushing myself to do, and, one of the reasons I started doing the paint-alongs with the journal on this YouTube channel is because I thought, "You know what? I have all this stuff.
mhm.
I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna
Yeah,
experiment. I don't
right.
care what it looks like. I want to start using these supplies."
Pet portraits.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in every time I'm like, look at her go. You did oil. You're doing this. You're doing that. I'm like, you go.
I'm always learning. I
I
love to
know.
learn. So I will
Amazing.
learn how to do the rocks. I just,
You will. You
haven't
know,
sat down yet.
if you want to do a paint with me, we can work on a stone together one night, and I can just show you what I
Yeah.
do, and because you'll enjoy it. It's just fun.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm down.
Okay. Okay. With your busy schedule.
Yeah. But I try
Hmm.
and set, like, a couple of days a week aside, some blocks of time for me to
Right.
create
Good.
because it's that important.
You need it. You need it.
Yeah, I do.
I start my day. Every day I come and I work on something in the morning, and then life, normal life steps in, and,
Uh-huh.
and then in the evening time. But you know what I'm doing though, because I'm downstairs now. Football's almost over, or a little bit of football left. So on the nights
Right.
that Paul's not watching sports, I'm like, okay, let's put a movie on, and I bring a stone up and I work on a stone upstairs while I work on a movie.
Yeah. Do you put it on, like, a TV dinner tray or something like
I
that?
have a TV dinner tray, and then I have the Lazy Susan because I
Oh.
love these things to work.
Oh, nice. Okay,
It's
great.
as you're shifting, because I'm always shifting it around. I saw
Yeah.
someone else use that, so I have a couple of them throughout the house.
Right. Well, it was a joy talking to you as always, and I look forward to our little paint sesh together. You're just such an inspirational person, and I will put your socials linked in the
Okay,
comments of the show notes so people can just click and go see ya.
thank you, and thanks for having me. It was a joy to be here again with you.
Yeah, good talking to you.
All right,
Thank you for joining me and Tammy on this episode of Catch Some Soulshine. When I think of the generous spirit, I think of Tammy. She's just kind, loving, generous, and I hope that we've shared some nuggets today with you to start your healing journey. If there's an aspect of your life that maybe you haven't focused on, like your food or your exercise, just take that small step to get better. Do some creativity. It has worked wonders for both Tammy and I. You can find her on her Facebook page and Instagram, and I will share both of those links in the comments. She has beautiful work, beautiful, uplifting. So go check it out and get yourself some Tammi art. If you want to ripple something out into the community, please consider joining the Ripple Project at ripple.dawnreneebove.com. It's time that we start rippling kindness and love everywhere, and I have a way to do that that's easy, simple, and fun. I also want to ask you to please rate the podcast, like, subscribe, because it really does help get this message out to other people. Ripple on, folks.